The world is submerged, hushed by a deluge that has washed away all but a single vessel of hope. Water stretches to every horizon, a vast, silent mirror reflecting a sky heavy with clouds. Inside the ark, the air is thick with the scent of animals, hay, and the damp chill of the deep. For months, this has been the only reality for Noah and his family. Days bled into weeks, weeks into months, a monotonous rhythm of feeding, cleaning, and waiting. The cries of the creatures were a constant reminder of the life they carried, a fragile cargo on an endless ocean. But the loudest sound was the silence from the world outside, a world they once knew, now gone. Noah stands near an opening, the coarse wood of the ark cool against his touch. He gazes out, but there is nothing to see but the gray expanse of water and sky. His heart aches with a profound loneliness. He remembers the world before the rain. He remembers the laughter, the markets, the cities bustling with life. He also remembers the wickedness, the corruption that had seeped into the heart of humanity, a darkness that had grieved the very heart of God. He had preached, he had warned, but his voice was a whisper in a storm of disbelief. Now, the storm had passed, leaving behind this silent, watery tomb. Was this the end? Was this all that was left? A heavy sense of responsibility weighs on his shoulders. He, his family, and the pairs of creatures huddled in the dark were the last embers of life. The future of the world rested within these gopher wood walls. He prays, his words a soft murmur against the gentle rocking of the ark. He prays for guidance, for strength, and for a sign that God has not forgotten them. A sign that this endless waiting has a purpose. His faith, though tested by the long dark days, remains his anchor in this sea of uncertainty. He trusts the promise that brought him here, even when the promise of a future seems impossibly distant. And then after 150 days something changes. A subtle shift in the movement of the ark, a new sound, a gentle scraping, a tremor that runs through the wooden beams. It is the wind. A wind sent by God sweeping over the face of the waters. It is the first breath of a new world, a divine whisper breaking the long silence. The waters, which had risen with such terrifying fury, now begin to recede. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the great flood begins to ebb. The wind carries with it the scent of drying earth, a promise of land. Hope, fragile but persistent, stirs in Noah's heart. The waiting is not over, but the end is in sight. He feels a deep, soul-stirring gratitude. God remembered. Amid the vastness of the water and the silence of a cleansed world, God remembered Noah. As the waters continue to fall, a profound moment arrives. A sudden jolt, a deep groan from the very bones of the ark, and then stillness. A stillness more complete than any they had known. The gentle rocking ceases. They have come to rest. The ark, their sanctuary and their prison, has found its mooring upon the mountains of Ararat. The sound of excited voices echoes through the vessel as Noah's family feels the solid ground beneath them. But Noah tempers their excitement. The time is not yet right. Patience. They have learned patience in the belly of the ark, and they must practice it a little longer. 40 days pass. Noah climbs to the highest point of the ark and opens a window. The air that rushes in is fresh, clean, and alive. He releases a raven, a creature of darkness and resilience. It flies out into the vast, empty sky, a black speck against the gray clouds. It flies back and forth, a restless scout over the receding waters, never truly leaving the vicinity of the ark. It finds no place to rest, for the world is still a marshland, a muddy expanse between water and sky. After another 7 days, Noah chooses a different messenger, a dove, a symbol of peace and purity. He takes the gentle bird in his hands, its heart beating a rapid rhythm against his palm. He releases it, and it soars away, a flash of white against the horizon. The family watches, their breath held in suspense. Hours pass. Just as dusk begins to paint the sky in shades of purple and orange, they see it. A small white shape approaching the ark. The dove returns, and in its beak it carries a freshly plucked olive leaf. A single leaf. Yet, in that leaf is the promise of a new world. It is a message from the earth itself, a sign that life has returned. A wave of indescribable relief and joy washes over Noah. Tears stream down his face as he gently takes the leaf from the dove's beak. He holds it up for his family to see. It is more precious than gold, more beautiful than any jewel. It is a symbol of God's faithfulness, a tangible piece of hope. Life was not extinguished. The earth was healing. A new chapter was beginning. He waits another 7 days, his heart now full of quiet confidence. He sends the dove out once more. This time it does not return. Noah smiles. He knows what it means. The dove has found a home. It has found a tree, a nest, a place to build a life. And if the dove has found a home, then soon they will too. The long period of confinement is finally drawing to a close. The time to step out into the new world is almost here. The day arrives. On the first day of the first month of Noah's 601st year, he removes the covering of the ark. He looks out, and his eyes behold a sight that fills him with awe. The ground is dry. The world is washed clean, pristine, and new, bathed in the light of a new dawn. God's voice, the voice that commanded him to build the ark, now speaks again, releasing him from his long duty. Go out from the ark, you and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. Bring out with you every living thing that is with you, that they may swarm on the earth and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. The great door of the ark is opened. A ramp is lowered. What a moment that must have been. After more than a year, the first step onto solid ground. The air is pure, the earth firm beneath their feet. Then comes the procession. Out they come, 2 by 2, a river of life pouring forth from the ark. The thunder of hooves, the chatter of monkeys, the roar of lions, the soaring of eagles. The world, once silent, is now filled with sound and movement. The creatures, released from their confinement, disperse across the landscape, free to roam, to explore, to begin again. Noah and his family watch, their hearts overflowing. They have been faithful stewards of life, and now they are witnesses to its glorious rebirth. Noah's first act in this new world is one of worship. He builds an altar, not a house, not a fence, but an altar. He gathers stones, his hands shaping a place of communion with God. He takes from the clean animals, the ones brought in sevens, and offers a burnt offering. The smoke ascends to the heavens, a fragrant aroma, a prayer of thanksgiving rising from a grateful heart. It is an act of pure devotion, an acknowledgement that everything they have, everything they are, comes from God. They survive not by their own strength, but by His grace. And God receives this offering. The Lord smells the pleasing aroma and says in His heart, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. This is a moment of profound theological significance. God acknowledges the fallen nature of humanity, the inclination towards evil that remains even after the flood. But instead of responding with judgment, He responds with a promise of unwavering patience and mercy. The cycle of seasons will continue, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. They shall not cease. The fundamental order of creation is re-established, secured not by human righteousness, but by God's unilateral grace. God then blesses Noah and his sons. He repeats the original command given to Adam, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. It is a new beginning, a fresh start for humanity. He establishes a new order between humans and animals, a relationship of fear and dread, and grants humanity permission to eat meat, a concession for their sustenance in this new world. But with this new permission comes a solemn prohibition. They must not eat flesh with its lifeblood still in it. And more importantly, God establishes the sanctity of human life. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in His own image. Life is sacred because humanity bears the image of God. And then God establishes His covenant. Not just with Noah, but with all of humanity and with every living creature. Behold, I establish my covenant with you and your offspring after you, and with every living creature that is with you. I will establish my covenant with you, that never again shall all flesh be cut off by the waters of the flood, and never again shall there be a flood to destroy the earth. This is not a contract based on mutual obligations. It is a unilateral promise from God, a declaration of His enduring mercy. And to seal this promise, God gives a sign that will be visible to all generations. I have set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth, the rainbow. The warrior's bow, now unstrung and hung in the clouds, no longer a weapon of judgment, but a symbol of peace. When the clouds gather and the rain falls, when humanity might fear a repeat of the great deluge, the rainbow will appear, a brilliant splash of color against the gray sky. It serves as a reminder to humanity of God's promise, and, as the text says, a reminder to God himself. When I see it, I will remember the everlasting covenant. It is a breathtakingly beautiful image of God's commitment to his creation. The story then shifts, moving from the mountaintop of covenant to the plains of human history. We see the descendants of Noah's 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. From these 3, the whole earth was populated. The 10th chapter of Genesis, often called the Table of Nations, provides a genealogy, an ancient map of the world, tracing the origins of the various peoples and nations. It is a reminder that all of humanity shares a common ancestry, a common origin in the family of Noah. Despite our different languages, cultures, and locations, we are all part of one story. But even in this new beginning, the shadow of human fallenness lingers. A troubling story is told about Noah, his son Ham, and a moment of shame in a vineyard. It is a stark reminder that the flood washed away the wicked, but it did not wash away the potential for sin within the human heart. The new world is not a perfect world. The struggle between good and evil continues. Yet the final image is not one of shame, but of promise. The covenant stands. The rainbow endures. The story of Genesis moves forward, tracing the lineage of Shem, the line through which God's ultimate plan of redemption will unfold. The flood was a terrible judgment, but it was not the final word. The final word is grace. The story of Noah is a story of a new beginning, a testament to a God who judges sin but delights in mercy, a God who is faithful to his promises and who can bring forth new life from the waters of chaos. It is a story that continues to echo through the ages, a story of hope for all who find themselves waiting for the waters to recede and for the sign of the rainbow in the clouds.